here on your slide, on your screen, you can see that I've intentionally highlighted some four words, four words, three words plus a phrase. Okay, we have elements, parts, form, and physical look. So when you say structure, it means it evokes the idea of an element. An element is also about parts. It deals with the form of something or the physical look of something. So you can see that when you ask the question, what are the elements of an essay, you can see it is the same as being asked, what are the parts of the essay, what are the physical looks of the essay, what are the forms of the essay, and so on and so forth. It is to guide us so that we don't get confused when these words that can be used interchangeably used. Right. Now, let's go to the structure of the form or the element or the physical look of the essay. We know this already. We can see it even when we are asleep. We can easily see it. It's made up of the introduction, the body, and conclusion. Where by the design of the diagram, you see the introduction is so broad, but as it moves down, it tapers off. The body is where you have a lot of work being done. Then the conclusion leads you straight to the point. That is the tiniest part of the essay is the conclusion. So this is well designed for us to know what the whole thing is about. In terms of numbers, percentages, or weighting, in terms of numbers, as you can see on the screen, both the introduction and the conclusion have about the same weighting from 10 to 15% of the essay, while the biggest proportion is the body of the essay. We shall see presently the other labels of the body. When you say body, you can see other terms or labels that we can use in place of the word body or the concept body. And that constitutes 70 to 80% of the essay. If that is the case, and you are writing an essay, and it so happened that the physical look of your essay said that the introduction has a weighting of about 60%, while the remaining 40 is divided between the body and the conclusion. It tells you there's something wrong about your essay. That's the physical look. There's something wrong. It is. I used the term yesterday, and I don't know. I'm gonna, but I know we use it in regard to Kosuru cover. It's a can, pure can, terms. Who knows what Kosuru cover is? Hey, it is academic writing, so it means we cannot, uh, you know, talk about it. What is Kosuru cover? Who knows what Kosuru cover is? When you say Kosuru cover, hey, gardener.
Sir, please, it is believed to refer to someone who, let's say, somebody who has no definite shape. Like the person is like Obumbako, like, uh-huh.
Okay, let me listen to Grace.
Okay, so when we say Kosrokobo, we are talking of the upper part being bigger than the lower part.
You can imagine that. You can imagine that. That's fine. But your answers are correct. We don't want any Kosokobo type of essay. No, no, no. Let it be tasteful. Let it be aesthetically. Let it be design here minds the weighting. Mind the weighting. It's not always so that you have both the introduction and the conclusion having the same weighting. It's not so, right? But if you follow the design here, you are on the right path. I hope that is clear. Now, what does the introduction do? Now we're moving into the functions of the paragraph, starting with the introduction. Functions of paragraph starting with the introductions. One, it creates context. It creates context out of which you can have the contents. All right. And this is when you create a situation that will make you discuss your point. You come out with a point. There's, a topic that will enable you to discuss the topic. So you create the context for the essay. Secondly, the essay story, the introduction captures or is supposed to capture the interest of the reader. It's supposed to capture the interest of the reader, and you should know who your audience is and why or how you need to capture the interest of the. We shall see this presently as we go through the lecture. The third point is that it's third and fourth point is that it is beneficial to both you and your readers. As far as the readers are concerned, you are telling them exactly what they need to know about the essay, what the essay is about. Whilst you, as a writer, you are guided as to what you'll be doing in the essay. You have stated it in the introduction and you must act accordingly. So it's beneficial to both the reader or in an extended form, the audience plus the writer. You being the writer is both beneficial. So the introduction must be designed in such a way that you both benefit while the reader knows what the essay is about. You also are guided because it serves as a map, a guidepost, direction as to how the essay must be written. All these are the functions of the introduction. Right. Let's move to um, the middle part or the middle element or the middle form of the essay. That is the body paragraphs. The body paragraphs. This is really the action room, the factory, where the actual purpose of the essay is carried out. Ideally, at this level, if you are given a topic, you cannot exhaust everything. So if you are writing an essay that is supposed to be in total 5 paragraphs. So you have 1 paragraph for the introduction, 1 paragraph for the conclusion, 3 paragraphs for the body. If you have 3 paragraphs for the body, it means that you are discussing about 3 ideas. So what is recommended is that at this level, develop one idea in a paragraph or use 1 paragraph to develop one idea. You remember this political jargon, one village, one dam. This is our one village, one dam. 1 paragraph, one idea, ideally. But it is not always so that 1 paragraph must be used to develop one idea. Depending on the complexity of your topic and the time allotted, time available, a topic may require um, information that is involving voluminous, said that an idea can be developed spreading across copious or series of paragraphs. Just an idea. It's an idea. So it's not always so that you should develop one idea in a paragraph. But ideally, for our sake, because of limited time, If you have three ideas, it means that assign one paragraph to one idea. And the body also demonstrates, how knowledgeable you are as far as the topic is concerned. And once you show that you are knowledgeable in it, it means that you really understand it. How should the paragraphs flow? This is where we have the interparagraph transition.
Yes, two,
Interparagraph
yes,
transition.
three, three,
What do we
seven
mean by
and
this? Supposing you have, we're talking still about the body, the middle part,
number three,
and
four,
you
three,
have
four.
four ideas that you want to develop. And as you've said, ideally assign one paragraph to one idea. So we have paragraph 1 for one idea, paragraph 2 for another, paragraph 3 for yet another, and paragraph 4 for the fourth idea that we have. This
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be developed
Number
in
copy.
isolation, though the ideas may stand out. But there must be words, phrases, sentences in the paragraph, either the preceding one and the one that follows it, to connect the two. So you can have a situation where paragraph 2 maps is connected to paragraph 1, paragraph 3 is connected to paragraph 2, paragraph 4 is connected to paragraph 3. That's what we mean by inter-paragraph transition. The way you transition from one paragraph to the other. And how do we do this? How do we ensure that there is interparagraph transition in our essay? We use this tool, what we call transitional markers. Transitional markers. Transitional markers are made up of words, phrases. We don't have it on the slide here, and sentences. So we have transitional words, transitional phrases, and transitional sentences. As regards transitional words and phrases, we have example like also, moreover, again, further, then a phrase like as a result of what have you. Okay, so these are some transitional markers, transitional words, and of course a phrases. We have some more we shall see. These markers, these words have been grouped in what we call the semantic implications. Semantic implications. We have groupings like addition, sequence, space, example, comparison, contrast, results, etc., etc. So according to the slides, I didn't say it is the slide that indicated it. At the bottom, we have a task like an assignment that must be done right away. It says create a list of transitional words. Of course, if you have quizzes too, based on the semantic implications above. Who can do that? Who can do that? Don't worry. Um, just worry yourself with about $5,000. I'll share what is more comprehensive than what you have here with you right away. In the first place, take a shot of it, a quick shot of it. It's not very clear because it got flooded. It got flooded, and it's disfigured. But you can still see. I was at the point enlarging it, making it broader for you to take the various parts that I will display. So I'm sharing what is more comprehensive than we have in the slide. Take a shot of it and confirm if you can see on your screen. Any confirmation? Can you see it on your screen?
did, but the words are not clear.
Oh, but I told you.
So please, we can see.
Yes,
Some
sir.
of us
I
can
can
see
see it
Yeah,
clearly.
we
very
can see.
clear. I
They're
can
If
see
you
it.
clear.
can, if you cannot see, find a flooded area, the water in it. Drop your phone into it for about 5 minutes.
Papa,
It will make it clearer.
thank you, sir.
We shall be there. We shall be there. I told you, just take a quick shot of it. If you enlarge it, you'll be able to see the words. But I'm going to enlarge it from here in chunks for me to explain these concepts of transitional words, phrases, and basically transitional words and phrases. That's what we have here. We'll deal with the transitional sentences later. Right. So let's see how we can um, benefit from this. Where are you? 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 Oh, okay. Now I'm trying to make it bigger and confirm if you can see it the way. Is it better?
Yes, please, sir.
Yes,
Far,
please.
far much
Okay.
Good.
better.
Oh, so you don't need to put it in water again. Your phones. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's very bad. That's very bad. To hit the first instruction. Anyway, let's go through the semantic. You can see implications. The grouping. You have one addition. When you talk about addition, you have words like again, also, and then, besides, equally, finally, first, further, furthermore. A phrase like in addition, in the first place, 2 millionth place, or whatever, last, likewise. All these are used. So you have variety. We know variety of life, variety in terms of your choices. You don't have to stick to one way of listing ideas. We use addition to list ideas, list points. Okay, so this is one use of the semantic implication or grouping of addition. As far as the second one is concerned, comparison. Can you read for me to confirm you can see what do we have under comparison?
Also,
Also,
as well as, at the same time, equally
in
important, in
in
like
the
manner, in the same
in the
way,
same
likewise,
way,
and
likewise,
then similarly.
similarly. Mm,
Thank you. And whoever needs someone to sing bass for him or her should employ the one who read for us. His voice alone can make you sleep. What do we use comparison for? It is used to list two or more words that are similar. It's not about just comparing. No, comparing to indicate or to make a choice. No. When you have two or more words that are similar, you use comparison. Okay. On the other hand, yes, what did I say? On the other hand, is a transition that gives a contrastive situation. What contrasts comparison is contrast. In the contrast, when you are listing two words, you are pitching two or three words against one another. It indicates that the words are not similar, much. So you select your words carefully. So you begin with although. When I said on the other hand, that what I'm saying is different from what I had said earlier. Okay, so you have words and phrases like although and yet, same time, but conversely, that's why I see the way I'm singing it. We have a lot of them. Variety is the spice of life. So we have to choose among them and use them appropriately. Followed by causality. Cause, that is cause and effect. Cause and effect. So you have accordingly, because, consequently, evidenced by, all the way to
Say,
unless.
yeah,
Yes.
please. I didn't get the contrast very well. Please, can you take it again?
Okay, contrast and comparison are contrastive. They are opposite. While you use comparison to express two words that are the same, okay, that are the same, that compares favorably. Contrast and contrast, you use two words that are not the same, is the opposite. So these are the words that you use, the phrases that you use to indicate that you are saying something else that is different from what you have said before. That's when contrast is. So there, in fact, not, generally, from normally, you have to compare before you know that they compare favorably or they are contrastive. That word is there, but technically, and in academic writing, when you talk about transitional words and phrases, comparison and contrast are contrastive. They contrast each other. They are the opposite. While comparison will deal with words that are similar, words that match. Contrast is different. Words that don't match, words that are not similar, or phrases or ideas that are not similar. That's when contrast is used. I hope it is slightly better now. Let's move on. After causality, dealing with cause and effect, we also have time. What are the words and phrases? You have after, afterwards, and then, as long as. When you see these words and phrases, you know that you're dealing with time. Then you have summary and restatement. Summary and restatement, you have again, as has been noted, as you have read, for these reasons, in brief, in conclusion. So you see a mixture of both words and phrases. Example illustration, we've been using that a lot. An example is, an illustration is for another thing. For example, in terms of frequency, this is used a lot. For instance, and for example, they are used a lot to express the the concept of or the semantic implication of example or illustration. Regarding purpose, you have by the way, for this purpose, for this reason, and so on and so forth. Emphasis is also another category, another grouping. We have above all, especially, indeed, in anything, in fact, in particular, most important, to tell the truth. Location. In some publications, you have it as space, location or space. Then you have, for under location of space, you have above, adjacent to, below, beside, beyond, closer, further, here, all the way to outside, there, where. These words and phrases indicate that you are dealing with location or space. These are some transitional words and phrases that you can use to connect one paragraph to the other. So if idea in the body paragraphs, if one idea, the first idea contrasts with the second idea and you want to indicate that in your essay, you use the appropriate transition to let your reader know that now I'm moving away from this. I'm going to talk about something that is different from it. So you use the words and phrases to enable you do that. Choices to make. We have variety of ID words and phrases to use. As I said, variety is the spice of life. It makes our world beautiful. Instead of singing the same from the beginning of your essay, for example, please change. You have other words and safely and suitably replace the word or the phrase, for example. Right. Okay. So once again, if you haven't taken a shot of it, please do so, and we are good to go. Let's go back to our yeah. There's a hand up. Is any?
Yes, sir. Please, earlier I wanted to ask if Gardner was able to set up a recording or something.
Oh, I don't know. Ghana is here to answer.
Gardner, please, were you able to figure something out?
Okay, so I wasn't able to record directly, but I'm screen recording, so I'll share it later.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's continue. And your hand can come down now. Great. So let's go back to our slides. So this is where we were. It's where we were, and I've done your work for you, where we are to create a list of transition words based on the semantic implications above. We've given a more comprehensive list that will benefit us so that some taste into our writing. All along, we've dealt with transitional words and phrases. What about sentences, transitional sentences? So we have um, this sentences that mark transition from one paragraph to the next. These are some examples. We have 3 examples here. We have so far been looking at poor dietary habits as a cause of diabetes. Let us now turn our attention to lack of physical activity. Do you get it? So the writer, it could be in the first paragraph. This could be at the end of the paragraph, and it is designed to introduce what we discussed in the next. Or you can also make it of the second paragraph. You put it. It connects the 2 paragraphs. You are linking what had been said earlier to what you, meaning that they are woven together. They are woven together. You started with poor dietary habits as a cause of diabetes, but you're moving away from poor dietary habits to physical activity. Lack of physical activity being one of the causes of diabetes. This is the way we are expected to write. See this example. The above argument, the above argument is not the only argument. Let me read it again and better. The above argument is not the only argument in support of abortion. What do you think will follow? The writer is going to list another argument in support of abortion. So the two are linked. The two have been linked. The third example, examine the first critical, having examined first critical issue, let us now look at the. So that is how we expect it to write. We can use our transitional words, phrases, and sentences to ensure interparagraph transition, that our paragraphs in the body, the paragraphs in the body, though they may be talking about different ideas, they are still linked. The age of transitional markers, transitional phrases, sentences. Right. Now, how should our essay flow? In addition to the fact that it must be kinetic by means of transitional markers, transitional word phrases, and sentences, it must be orderly arranged, orderly, linear thought and development, linear from the root word line. It must be arranged in the straight line, in the straight line, meaning that you arrange your ideas in this particular form. It is purely by depending on the importance of the ideas or the points that you are sharing. You want to start with the least important to the most important, or the other way around, the most important to the least important. Let it flow like that. And that's why we have linear development of our essay. Think about it so carefully and arrange them in an orderly, in a logical or serial order. That's right. Don't mix them up, Basas. You don't know. You see, the first one is somewhere not very, very important. Then right after it, you have the most important, followed by Basal like that. Please, let's see some beauty, aesthetics, some beauty in our writing by writing linearly, by developing our points linearly. Let's take some time, think through and arrange the points in an orderly or logical way. It must have a proper sequence. It must have a proper sequence. All right, so that is for the various parts of the essay. We dealt with the function. I mean, the functions of the body paragraphs. All right. Okay. Now we have the structure of the essay. The second part of it. The second part of it. Back to the song we've been singing all this while. That you should have an introduction. You have a body. What we want to add to the label body are what I've underlined and highlighted here. We can call the body developmental paragraphs. That is where you develop the ideas. Hence, the term or the label developmental paragraph is appropriate. So apart from the word or the label body, you can also use the phrase developmental paragraphs. You can also use the word model or main. So that part alone has different names because it was given birth by different people. Oh, I see. I guess that's why it has different names. So when you see developmental program, please don't let that scare you. We are referring to the body or the main or the middle part of the essay. Then you should end with a conclusion that we know. We didn't say anything about the conclusion. I didn't say anything about the conclusion, but the conclusion was to summarize the points that you have in the developmental paragraphs that you have in the body or that you have in the main. You summarize the like you give a you can give predictions and at this point the second aspect of what we're supposed to do today is to use a topic to demonstrate how we can write an essay. And before you write, you must have a topic. A topic has been suggested to us here. Suggest 3 measures that should be put in place to ensure a peaceful election in Ghana. Suggest 3 measures that should be put in place to ensure a peaceful election in Ghana. How do we go about this? How do we go about this? Now, it starts with this slide, which I don't like very much because the arrangement is not very good. But let's start from the bottom of it, okay, before we continue with the top part, because that is the order. That is the order of the introduction, starting with the essay. Okay, the introduction should have or to use a method or a strategy that is suitable for the topic. One, it should have a method, a strategy that should be used that is suitable for the essay, and it should be an interesting one. When you talk about method or strategy, what do we have in mind? Method that is suitable, that should be interesting. I'll go down to the list and show you to the slides and show you the design of it. This is what you should have had for a thesis statement. Okay. Let me clear some confusion here. So using this, the first part is the method you see. Then the second part is a thesis statement. So mind these keywords here. In the introduction, you must have a method and you must have a thesis statement. These two parts must be found in the introduction. And this is what we have here. The first part where you have the method is the opening. Under the opening, we have methods like anecdotes, quotations, statistics, etc. There are some more. We see a longer list than this. They all come under the opening. They are all methods or strategies. And the writer decides which one to use that he deems suitable, that will capture the interest of the reader. When you talk about anecdote, it's normally a short story that is related, that is linked with the topic. All right, and our topic is what measures you put in place to ensure a peaceful election in Ghana. You may want to tell a story about an election that was held and perhaps there were problems in it here and there and so forth. You may want to talk about it. In an election that wasn't peaceful, that's an anecdote. It should be short. It shouldn't be long and winding like an Anansi story. Of course, if it's an Anansi story, you can still, so long as it's related to the topic, you can use it. So it could be an anecdote, it could be a quotation, it could be statistics. There's some more. We shall see this presently. Then you move on to what we call the thesis statement. The thesis statement. So in the thesis statement, you state clearly what the entire essay is about. It's the last sentence that is normally written in the introduction that tells the reader what the entire essay is about. So, as part of the thesis statement, you will say that in this essay we are going to discuss three measures that will be put in place to ensure peaceful elections in Ghana. That should be your thesis statement. After telling us a story, if your method is by means of a short story, if you want to give statistics to indicate elections that have been done earlier, if you want to give some quotations earlier as part of the opening, they all could be considered, suitable method. Then you end that introduction with the thesis statement that in this essay will suggest three measures that should be put in place to ensure a peaceful election in Ghana. Then you end there. When you state this, have you stated the three measures? No, you haven't. Vaguely, you just stated that you list or the essay will be developed based on these three measures. And this is a thesis statement without a plan. But where you list the measures one after the other, we call it a plan. So you can add a plan to the thesis statement by listing the measures, the individual measures that should be put in place to ensure peaceful election in Ghana. So this alone will help you to come up with a very solid introduction that will guide both the reader, for the reader to know what your essay will be about, in spite of the fact that it's in the topic already, and you as the writer will be guided by these measures to write or to develop them so that you don't deviate because you're just writing. And by including the plan, by listing the various items that you want to discuss in the body, you are guided by it because it's still a signpost. It's a signpost for you to follow. All right. So now let's move on after the development. Sorry, the introduction. You move on to the body. As I said earlier, it has different labels. Could be developmental paragraph, the body paragraph, the main or the middle, and so forth and so forth on. And so if you say three measures, we expect one measure to be developed in one paragraph. We expect you ideally to develop one measure in one paragraph, beginning with what you call the topic sentence. At this stage, and these are words that these are concepts that we shall learn later. When you talk about topic sentences are found only in the body or the developmental paragraphs. Topic sentences are found only in the body or the main or the middle or the developmental paragraphs. And they are normally the first sentence that is written. And the topic sentence has the controlling idea of the paragraph. So you can start the first paragraph based on the topic that you've given. I don't know. Can you give something? The first measure that should be put in place to ensure peaceful election in Ghana is to ensure that there's food. Don't mind my example. It is just an imaginary thing. Okay. So that is the topic sentence. It's the controlling idea. So you expect your reader to know how food would ensure peaceful election in Ghana. When you move to the next paragraph, then you use the transitional words. Apart from food being used to ensure peaceful election in Ghana, you want to supply umbrella in case it rains heavily so that people can run to the polling stations. All these are imaginary. So you are adding it, yet connecting it to what has been previously said, and that's the way it should go. So you must have the topic sentence being the first sentence in the developmental paragraph, in the body paragraph, that will guide your reader as to what topic, what point you are about to discuss in that paragraph. Again, whilst thesis statement is the controlling idea of the entire essay, the topic sentence has the controlling idea of the paragraph, the body paragraph. The functions are basically the same, but they are found in different parts of the essay. Thesis statement is found only in the introductory paragraph, the introduction, while topic sentence is found in the developmental paragraph. And the function has to tell you about the controlling idea of the essay. Now, as you develop your paragraph, each paragraph should have, I'm referring to the last bullet point, each developmental paragraph should be unified, complete, and coherent. This is loaded. It is fully packed with information. This is what we refer to as principles of good paragraphing. Principles of good paragraphing. And the three of them are paragraph unity, paragraph completeness, and paragraph coherence. Some authorities have it as cohesion and coherence, whatever it is. So you have these principles of a good paragraphing, paragraph unity, paragraph completeness, and paragraph coherence. What do we mean by these principles? When you are writing on developing the measure that should be put in place to ensure peaceful election in the country, make sure the paragraph is unified. What do we mean by that? The paragraph is unified when all the sentences in the paragraph are talking about one and the same thing. They are all connected to the topic sentence, the sentence that has a controlling idea of that paragraph. All the sentences in the paragraph should be connected to the first sentence, that's the topic sentence. When you do that, you say that your paragraph is unified. You are using the principle of paragraph unity in that paragraph. What about paragraph completeness? It is about adequacy of information. Adequacy of information. Do you have enough information in there so that your reader doesn't ask, what about this, what about that? Of course, you cannot exhaust everything. You cannot say everything, but say just enough so that it will make your work complete. So no questions are asked regarding the others. If they want more, they should go and do a research on it. They will get some more. But give enough or adequate information that will support the idea that is being developed in that paragraph. Then we say that your paragraph is enjoying paragraph completeness. As regards coherence, in fact, coherence is more complicated, the most complicated of the three principles. It's about the logical flow, the orderly flow of your sentences, arranging things in a logical order. You start from 1, move to 2, move to 3, move to 4, in that order. You don't start from 4, come to 1, go to 3, and move to 7, basa, like that. It should be orderly. And more often than not, one of the tools that we use to ensure logical flow is the use of transitional words, phrases, and sentences. There are some other tools that are used. We cannot deal with that later. All right, cannot deal with that later. So if you have all these three principles being used in your essay, we say that your essay as unified, is complete, and is coherent as far as the measures that should be put in place to ensure peaceful elections in Ghana are concerned. Right. Let's move out. Here we have the conclusion. How do you conclude the topic then? Measures that you put in place to ensure peaceful election in Ghana. It should include a summary of the three measures discussed. A summary of the three measures. And sometimes, don't tell anybody. This is what some people do when you write an essay for them to know what you have in the body. They will not read the body at all. They read the introduction because they know the thesis statement will tell the reader what the essay will be about. Then from the introduction, they go straight to the conclusion where the points developed in the body have been summarized. So he reads the introduction, he reads the conclusion, and he can tell what you have in the body. If that's how your paragraph can be understood without any problem, then it is a well-written paragraph. Okay, so please develop your introduction very well and make sure the summary, while referring to what you set yourself to do in the introductory paragraph, is well written to capture the ideas that you have in the developmental paragraph. And take note of this warning. Your summary must not, please replace the word should, the modal word should, must not contain a new idea or topic. It must not contain. How do you introduce a new topic when you are summarizing the developmental paragraph? No, it is not possible. So don't ever, ever introduce a new topic in your summary. And of course, the wordings in this, the conclusion should indicate that you are closing it. You should have a sense of closure. We have words that you use. Sometimes, in addition to the summary, you can come out with a recommendation. So based on what you have discussed, you want to recommend that people must be paid, the government must pay people well so that they can buy enough food, enough umbrella, and so forth, so that they can move straight to the polling station without any problem and so on. That's a recommendation. You can also give predictions as Ghana will have the best elections being conducted in the whole wide world. Predictions. And that gives a sense of closure, doesn't it? So this is how we can approach this sample question, measures that should be put in place to ensure peaceful election in, in the country. I guess this one ends the first part of it, dealing with the structure of the essay with the support of a sample question and how it should be developed in our essays. Any question on this? No, I will not ask you to ask questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand and let me call you. I should be able to take you back to wherever you are, even if it has to do with the beginning of it. We'll be able to explain things. So feel free and ask your questions, hoping that will be carried along. Yeah, Gardner.
Yes, sir. Please, I wanted to ask, in the process of connecting your paragraphs, can you
Okay.
use the phrase or statement in as much as.
You can. It is a phrase.
Okay, so please, in what context can you use it?
Oh, you want me to think? I cannot think far now. Oh, Gardner, what exercise is that? This is an assignment that will take about 3 months. I thought you give an example so that I assess whether it is suitable. My mind is so wired now with this lecture.
Okay,
Yes, let's well, and,
so please, making reference to the example you gave, like the measures to.
put in place to ensure peaceful election in
Yes.
Ghana.
So after giving your first 2 points and elaborating on them, when going to the third point, can you use something like, in as much as these previous measures are steered towards ensuring peaceful elections, let us look at
Mm-hmm.
this to, as it also does the same thing.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. But what is the targeted purpose, effect? What do you have in mind? Is it to contrast what you said earlier or to give more weight into what you've done?
Is to give more reading, to add another measure to the previous 2.
Exactly. That is the use of it. So you determine the flow, the logical flow of your essay by means of the transitional words and phrases. Remember, linear thought and development. It should be linear. You drive your readers through what you have, and you can see the development, the trajectory of your writing based on the connections, interparagraph connections. Let me see that. Let me quickly add that. Oh, it's not about that you are asking. So I want to say that these same transitional words and phrases and sentences can be used in the paragraph. So in that case, we call it intra paragraph transitions. But when you're using them to connect paragraphs, it becomes inter paragraph transitions. So let's mind these two labels. So back to you, Bagdadna. You can use it that way. It is fine, a fine example. I'll take it. Are you okay? Are you there, Gardner, or you've been swept away by the floods?
Sir, please, I'm okay.
Oh, okay, right. Ali Banda, Ali Banda, your hand is up. Is it Ali or all? Is it Ali that I'm seeing? Yes. Ali Banda Adam. Let's set a rescue team. He might have been carried away by the floods.
Maybe he's floating on a mattress. He's coming.
He's
Hello,
floating. He's floating.
hello,
He is floating. He's come back with a canoe.
hello, Doc.
Hi.
Doc, please. My question is that can the
Oh,
paragraph?
how was the floating?
My question is that the paragraph are these supposed to be too long, like 1 page?
Ask your question again.
My question is that the paragraphs
Mm-hmm.
are they supposed to be too long, like 1 page?
Yes, no, I don't know. I have three answers. And I'll give reasons for my answers.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
Yes, yes, if your handwriting is big and you write about 4 words on a line, a paragraph of about 100 words may cover a page. You see.
Okay.
But if you are typing it with a font size of 12, single spacing, and you park a whole page in the name of a paragraph at this level, mind my use of the word at this level, then there's something wrong with your paragraphing. Okay,
Okay.
font size 12, single line spacing, even if it's double and it still covers the entire page. What are you writing? Are you writing a thesis, PhD thesis, 110 or 210? No. Would you have enough time to develop the others? Mind you, you have limited time. In examination situations, you cannot do that. Even if it's an assignment, then you are likely to turn out about 5 pages of a topic that can be written in a page and a half, or at most 2 pages, even if it's typed. Even if it's typed. So it depends. It depends. So yes, it is possible, and no, it is not possible in an examination situation, and especially when you are typing it. It's not so. So it depends clearly on you. That's why I said I don't know, because it's dependent on the writer and the means that it's using to develop it, the time that you have to develop the point in an examination situation. You don't have all the time in the world to do that. Our time, we're given 10 questions. Our time in school, we're given 10 questions, and we are to answer 3. We choose 3 to develop in 2 hours. Am I right? Yes.
Okay.
So, so you don't have, see, you are writing all essays. It is difficult. It will be difficult. So, um, at this level, 5 paragraphs in total, even if you have so many points, select from the points and use the salient ones that will be appropriate. Use only 3 and develop the 3 so that it will not be boring reading it.
Thank you, Doc.
Don't mention it. All right, so back to the second part of the second structure of it. We use that to explain what has been said earlier, the way um, our the slide was not well ordered in my estimation. So we talked about the structure of introduction. That the introduction must have an opening, which can include anecdote, that's the short story, quotation statistics, and so on and so forth. Then the thesis statement. So we're going to take this one after the other. We've said something about them already, and that will, recap what we've said. Talking about the opening should provide adequate introductory context. The context is what there's creating a situation that will help you discuss the topic. Sometimes you want to give background information from general to specific. Some authorities have it as from broad to narrow. If you want to talk about elections in Ghana, you may want to broaden it out to include in the background elections in the whole wide world. Okay, then you scale it down to Ghana. That makes it interesting to know what is going on outside, and this time targeting Ghana. So that's what we mean from general to spot specific, or from broad to narrow. Now you can also include what we call the problem statement. Is there a gap to fill? Have there been problems with elections? If there is a gap, indicate that gap, the problem that you want to deal with. before you come to the thesis statement and tell your reader how you want to solve or bridge this gap using the thesis statement to indicate what you must do. And that will be um, the central idea, central argument in your essay, in the entire essay. So this is the opening, sorry, the introduction, the structure of the introduction. It must have an opening that may include a background, the bridge or the gap, the problem statement. Then the thesis statement that tells the reader, that has the controlling idea, that has the controlling point, that is the focus of the entire essay. Right. So now in the opening we talked about the methods or strategies. This time we have a longer one here. We have, over here we have only 3 anecdote, quotation, statistics. Right. But this time around we have about 7 of them or 8 of them using relevant quotations. We saw quotations on slide 17. We saw statistical data there. We saw anecdotes. New things that we have here are starting with an opposite situation. Starting with an opposite situation. And this one, if you want to talk about, um, now I'm very careful about those examples, right? If you want to talk about how good the economy is now, you want to starting starting with the opposite situation. You want to start from how bad it used to be. Okay, you start from how bad it used to be, scaling it down to how good it is. Okay, that is starting with the opposite situation, or the conduct of kids, um, how bad it is now. You may start which to start from how good kids behave in the time past, but slowly scaling down to how bad it is. That is starting with the opposite, with an opposite situation. Then you can ask, you can use questions, rhetorical questions. So the opposite situation and rhetorical questions, we have samples of them here. We'll discuss them before we end. You can use definitions as part of the opening. You can use relevant historical event, popular sayings, proverbs, axioms, maxims can all be used, and observation. Again, the list is endless. Whatever strategy or method that you think is appropriate to use to capture the interest of the reader connected to the topic is what you should use here as far as the opening is concerned. It must be interesting to the reader. But how do you assess that something is interesting to the reader? We have two criteria. We have two criteria that we have to dwell on. One, knowing your audience, your reader. Who are they? Are they gender sensitive? What is their professional background? The age. Are you writing for kids? Are you writing for middle age? Are you writing for old people? In such a way that you have to design your essay accordingly? Are you writing to peers, young ones, nationality, level of education, primary school kids, or tertiary students? Should they have the same level of um, writing from you, should it be the same? You see, naturally, you want to, um, you know, based on who your audience is, design your essay accordingly so as to be beneficial. Then the second criterion is knowing your message. Why are you giving the message? Why is that message? The purpose, as it were. Is it to explain? Is it to convince, persuade them to so online or take an action? Is it to inform them? Is it to describe a situation? So these two criteria can be used in assessing what is interesting or what is suitable for your audience is very, very important. Right. What about the thesis statement? What about the thesis statement? Remember the thesis statement where it's found in the introduction. Is the last thing that is written in the introductory part of the essay, and that's the controlling idea of the entire essay. It tells your reader what your essay is going to be about. This thesis statement must be arguable. Okay, you should express the point of view that can be arguable, debatable, as it were. And since it's debatable, you should have enough information to support the the thesis statement, reasons, past examples, and so on and so forth. Equally important is the fact that it should be specific. It should not be beating about the bush. If you write in a way that's not very clear, then you will not be guided by it. The reader will be lost because he will not know what you're writing about because it's not clear from the thesis statement in the introduction. So it must be precise and concise. Precise and concise, and you are guided by it. Specific. It should be specific. It's very important to do that. In addition to making your thesis statement a strong one, making it precise and concise, you should know that it must have the controlling idea of the essay. It must be linked from the topic from where it is derived. You don't write a thesis statement in the developmental paragraph. It must be in the introduction. Mind the way you word it. It must be done carefully. It shouldn't be too broad or too narrow. It should be too broad or too narrow. And as we said earlier, it must be specific, precise, and concise. Precise and concise. Now, and this looks like a question that was asked as to, yeah, I guess it's the same thing. How long should an introduction be? So clearly, you can see on the screen that there are no hard and fast rules about it, but it shouldn't be too long for it to be boring. Go straight to the point, make it clear. And I'm not a friend of figures. I don't like average length, 100 words. Who goes to count the number of words in there? Just mind the weighting. When you see aesthetically, when you see it on the surface, um, there's a number of words in the essay. Sorry, in the introduction, the same as the number of words, almost the same as the number of words in the conclusion. If that is fine, that is it. Oh, but if you have the time to count the words, so it's up to you. Okay. So there are no hard and fast rules about it. But don't make it ugly. Don't make it a Kosro Kobo type of um, essay. Now, getting to the end of the lecture, let's discuss some two samples of introduction. One, one that is using starting with an opposite strategy or method. I want a reader to help us do that whilst I sleep for about 2 hours. Who will read for us?
Sir, please, I would.
Grace.
Okay.
Sample
Sample.
introductory.
Oh, sorry, what a mix-up. I saw Grace's hand first. That's why I called her. So, Grace, let's hear you.
Okay. Sample introductory paragraph.
Oh, go straight
Method.
to the text.
Okay. Diseases like scarlet fever and whooping cough used to kill more young children than any other cause. Today, however, child mortality due to diseases has been almost completely eliminated by medical science. Instead, car accidents are the number one killer of our children, and most of the children fatally
Fatally.
injured fatally injured in car accidents were not protected by car seat belts or restraints of any kind. Several steps must be taken to reduce the serious dangers car accidents pose to our children.
That's a great one. Grace, BBC is waiting for you to employ you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you always tell me to find them good readers. So, your job is secure. All right, let's discuss this. Which part of this introductory paragraph is the opening? So this is the way I wanted to discuss it. Let's identify the parts that we mentioned earlier using the sample introductory paragraphs. Who try? If you try and you are wrong, I will not kill you. We'll just laugh at you and go faster and employ the work of the carpenter to open up our door so that we can enter instead of walking into it crab ways. Don't be feel intimidated at all. Come up with your what, where is the opening? Which part of it is the opening? Look at it again and again and again and again and again. Okay, Gardner. Gardner, you're welcome to Ghana.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please, I see the first sentence of the paragraph to be the opening because
Mm-hmm.
it gives a clear picture, or it gives a brief idea of what is about to be spoken of, being the causes of children dying, making reference to one thing being used in the previous years or previously.
That's a great one there. Ali,
Doc, please, I see from the after the first full stop. Today, however, child mortality due to diseases has been most completely eliminated by medical science. I see that one as the opening of the introduction of the paragraph.
okay. Okay, let me go to Ajika.
Yes, sir. I will go for the third sentence.
Uh-huh.
Which state?
Uh-huh.
Instead, car accidents are the number one killer of our children.
Okay. Thank you all. In view of the time, we don't have all the time in the world. Otherwise, I'll
Good
sound all
morning.
of you to test
Can I do
whether
something?
you have an opinion about this. I know you have an opinion. Sometimes you don't want to state it. Lamin, ça va là-bas? Lamin, oh, where is Lamin?
Ça va très bien, merci. Et toi?
On dit quoi? On t'attend, non?
Let's come back to English. My understand,
I
say.
don't I don't understand English.
For the sake of my colleagues, let's do English.
Okay.
Yeah. The first sentence, which is diseases like scarlet fever, and to the first full stop. That's the opening sentence. Because when you look at it, we said that the opening uh, or the background should have starting with an opposition situation can also be the opening. So I think the first sentence is the opening.
No, right. All right. Thank you. I agree with you. So you remember giving some background to the study from broad to narrow or from general to specific. So it's starting from still dealing with what has been killing young ones. Started with diseases that used to be the case of it. So I'll take it. Well, you can add a second sentence to it, but the second sentence changes the tone slightly. Okay, introduces something else that have been killing. I mean, how this has been dealt with. Okay, so ideally it is the first one. Now, number two, I did something to the text. The last but one line. What you may have in the slides if you download it from Sakai, and the sentence reads by car seats, comma, belts, comma, or restraint. But it should be by car seats belts. So I changed the punctuation here, there, removing the comma after seat and leaving it after the belts because it's supposed to be car seat belts or restraint. That's why it's a restraint. Now, can you identify the thesis statement? Where is the thesis statement of this paragraph? Essentially,
So I'd say the thesis statement is the third and the fourth paragraph sentence,
which reads as
which reads as, and most of the children fatally injured in car accidents were not protected by car seat belts or restraints of any kind. Several steps must be taken to reduce the serious dangers car accidents pose to our children.
thank you very much, Essani. Did I pronounce the name correctly?
Says Esiani.
Essani. See how
Yeah.
I did it. Oh, sorry about that. Essani. Essani. I'll not make that mistake again. Now, Gardner,
Yes, sir. Sir, please, I think the second statement will be the thesis statement because it is directly bringing out what the writer is going to speak about in the body of the essay.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, in view of the time, I'll conclude by saying that it is the last one that Gardner talked about. Several steps must be taken to reduce the serious dangers car accidents pose to our children. So you expect the writer to talk about the steps that should be put in place to reduce the dangers of car accidents, especially as far as our children are concerned. That is fine. Now tell me, does it have a plan? Does the thesis statement have a plan here? Remember what I said earlier, if you were listening carefully. Does it have a plan, Grace?
Please, no, it doesn't.
Thank you very much, Grace. So when I say a plan, can you suggest some plan for this? I mean, imaginary. You cannot be correct. Anybody, can you suggest some plan? When I talk about plan, to make it easier, you're talking about the steps, naming the or listing the steps, like several steps like A, B, C. When you list the steps, it means that you are adding the plan to the thesis statement. But this is a vague one. It's several. The writer will not know how many steps you're going to suggest. The person will not know. But if you say several steps or steps must be taken, steps such as A, B, C must be taken to ensure that car accidents is reduced. That is when you are in fact you have introduced the plan to it, and you'll be guided by it, and the reader too will be helped to know what you'll be writing about. I hope that is clear. So we have an appropriate thesis statement that doesn't have a plan and it is acceptable. Let's go to the last and final um, sample introductory paragraph. Who reads for us? Gardner? Gardner.
So if it's not there, let me read.
Go ahead. Gardner has run away. He's been swept away by the floods.
So no, please, my network was a little shaky, that's all. But Essentially can continue.
Okay, thank you.
So we are waiting for you, Isiani.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. What is love? How do we know that we are really in love? When
Isiani,
we meet, sir.
why are we fighting?
No, sir.
What is the subject matter here?
Sample introductory paragraph
No. What's the subject
and the
matter?
method.
What was the idea, the concept being discussed here? Isn't it about love?
Sir, please, can you take it again?
Isn't it about love that we're talking about? Hey, Siani, you are thinking too far.
Sir, please, can I take over my steering wheel?
This is about love. This is about love.
Sir, please,
Let
can
it
I
be
take over my
romantic.
steering wheel?
Siani, don't mind me. Continue.
Okay, sir. Um, what is love? How do we know that we are really in love? When we meet that special person, How can we tell that our feelings are genuine and not merely infatuation? And if they are genuine, will these feelings last? Love, as you all know, is difficult to define, but most people agree that true and lasting love involves far more than mere physical attraction. Love involves mutual respect, the desire to give rather than take, and the feeling of being whole at ease.
Thank you very much. I guess that was better than the military tone that you started with. It was carrying us away from love. This one it's more closer to being romantic than the first communist military one. Don't mind me, don't mind me.
Okay, so
Okay, now clearly, this is the use of rhetorical questions, isn't it? Great. Now, where is the thesis statement? We know the background already. The background of the opening uses questions or rhetorical questions. So the second part of an introduction is the thesis statement. Where is the thesis statement? Who can identify the thesis statement? Lovingly identify the thesis statement. I see a hand up right away. It is Grace. Grace, will yeah.
Okay, so the thesis statement here is, but most people agree that true and lasting love involves far more than more physical attraction. Love involves mutual respect, desire to give rather than take, and the feeling of being wholly at ease. Thank you.
Thank you too. You're welcome. What do you also think? Compounds two. Ton choix c'est quoi? Think. You agree with Grace? If you have another opinion, please let us know. Nobody is going to be arrested here, so you are safe to come up with yours. Can we say we just laugh at you? I have told you again and again, and we continue. Hey, okay, there is a hand up. Um, Jethro, Jethro, you're welcome to Ghana.
Thank you very much. I agree with her. I think it's the last sentence in there. But
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. Oh,
Hello, sir.
yeah.
Me, I think it starts from the back and ends at the attract.
Okay, thank you. Was he?
Okay, so I think but most people agree that true love and lasting love involves far more mere physical attraction. Uh they said that supportive, or if I heard, it must be supportable.
Mm-hmm.
meaning that other the following sentence is actually supporting the but most people
All right. Thank you. In view of the time, I'll say that is
Hey, okay.
yes, Joanna. Joanna?
Madam. So,
Oh, okay. Nanaya.
Okay, Doc, please, I think what will be discussed in the essay would be should a lesson lab involves far more than mere physical instruction. Love evokes mutual respect, and then the last one, the desire to give brother and take, and then the feeling of being wholly at ease.
Okay. That is fine. Latifatu. Latifatu.
What is that?
Thing.
Okay, thank you. So I think it has a plan, which is the mutual respect, the desire to give rather than take, and the feeling of being holy. Mm, that's the
Thank
plan.
you all. Thank you all. Confirming that it has a plan. And the, relying on the last sentence, we have of them, like Latifatu has early indicated, the writer will be talking about the desire to give rather than to take,
I should move this one.
and finally, feeling or the feeling of being at ease. So these are the areas that the writer will use to describe what love is. So it has a plan. All right. I'm afraid our time is up and we have to stop here. And you can go over the text, the slides to get it. I guess you're in a better shape to understand how we should approach our essays now. Yes, we essays that we've added to what we should do in a way as to write in an acceptable way in this new discourse come. It will be fine. Please be safe. Be safe. Keep buying. Please stop buying. I've forgotten the KFC's. Contribute money to buy a canoe. Very soon we'll be using canoe around. So that will be very practical. And you'll be safe. Okay. Ladiva too.
Hello, Doc. Please, I've not been able to sign any of the WhatsApp group, so maybe the course can share the link in the comment section. Thank you.
Speak
Yes, sir. Okay,
Grace.
so please let me leave there. I'll leave my contacts here so that they text me and I add them to the group.
Thank you very much, Grace. So
Okay. So
we end here, yeah, yeah. But you can still be online and out. Otherwise, I'll move on to do something
okay.
else. Uh, thanks for coming. We shall meet next week. But you'll be online before I completely shut down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I'm making it. You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Number is 02408588. Please hope we all had it right. Hello. Hello.
Hi,
Yes,
baby
we
girl.
are there.
Yes,
Hi.
please.
We all had it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go, please.
thank you very much for your time.
Hey,
Hope to meet you
Leslie,
next
where?
week. Love you all. Bye.